Hey guys, check it out. This is the 2021 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road, and in this video we're talking about why you should never ever buy a TRD Pro. Okay, maybe that's a little extreme, but why you should definitely buy the TRD Off-Road version of the Tacoma, because that is the one that gets you the most value, and this one has got a pretty cool option that's brand new to the Tacoma lineup. So let's get right into it. Now, the Tacoma is the best-selling mid-size truck in its class. They sell hundreds of thousands of these every single year, and they're available in a bunch of different versions, from base models and 4-cylinders all the way up to the top dog TRD Pro. This one, as you see it, is the TRD Off-Road, and what the TRD Off-Road gives you is all of the hardware that you need to really hit the trails, but not the bling that the Pro gives you, and I think that this is the one that really is the value in the lineup. Now, of course, there's also the TRD Sport, but that's very different than the Off-Road, and we'll talk about why here in a second. Now, let's start by popping the hood and finding out what the engine is. So this TRD Off-Road is a 3.5 liter V6 that makes 278 horsepower, 265 pound-feet of torque. It's not the most powerful in class, it's not the most efficient in class, but it is a solid choice. These vehicles are known for their reliability and their long-term longevity. And yeah, these 3.5s are pretty solid. It's made it to a 6-speed automatic, but you can also get the 6-speed manual transmission. This is kind of a funny tidbit of information. This one is equipped with a TRD washable and reusable performance air filter. It says do not throw away. Now, it is a $90 option. That's what it looks like. Oh, it's red, so it's got to be good. But if you want another engine choice in the Tacoma, there's still the 2.7 liter 4-cylinder. That is a potential option. Now, at altitude, the V6, it's a little bit pokey with the automatic transmission. It kind of feels like it's hunting for gears a lot of the time. Even on the 21s, you know, last couple of years they have revised the transmission programming a little bit, but still not really a powerhouse. You also don't get the TRD Pro headlights, so they've got kind of special headlights when you get the Pro model. These are just projector beams with this little C-shaped running light there on the side. This one doesn't have fog lights, but it does have this amazing army green color, which I'm glad they brought down from the Pros into the Off-Road. Now, underneath, big skid plate. So this is one of the big benefits of the Off-Road trim, is this large TRD skid plate, and you'll also notice recovery points in the front. So that is similar to the Pro, maybe not quite as flashy, but that will get the job done. Now, along the side, wheel and tire options. This one is rolling on a set of Goodyear Wrangler. These are the Kevlar reinforced tires. Not a phenomenal tire, but this is easily upgradable in the aftermarket, as most people will do. And this is kind of interesting too. This is a 265/70 R16-inch wheel, a 16 in 2021. But this is great because it allows you to put a nice thick sidewall down the side. I do like the off-road style wheel. I think it's pretty cool looking. Now, if you're thinking, wow, that seems like a pretty big gap, you are not wrong. This truck has got an interesting option. This is the new TRD lift kit. Yeah, that's right. So Toyota now is offering a lift kit. It's a dealer installed unit. It's $1,450 before installation, which Toyota estimates is 4 to 5 hours. But the cool thing about this lift kit is it gives you about 2 inches of additional lift in the front with Bilstein shocks. They're actually labeled TRD on the front there. And then in the rear, you've got a 1-inch lift with a lift spacer, basically. So it sits a little bit higher in the front and the back, but the great thing about this system is it's fully warranted. So it's got the standard TRD warranty, which I think is 36,000 miles in 3 years, somewhere along that territory. So if you want to lift your Tacoma, but you're really worried about maintaining that factory coverage, that factory warranty, this is a pretty cool thing. Although $1,450 is a lot of money. Now, if I were doing this, I think you'd have to kind of upgrade the tires a little bit. I'm not sure if putting a larger tire will affect the warranty. That's something you're going to have to look into. But in this current configuration, it looks a little bit silly in my mind with the raised suspension, but the standard size tires on there. And really, the tires are where you get that additional ground clearance. So the lift is great, but you're not really raising any of the low-hanging fruit. So for example, that rear pumpkin on the rear diff is still going to be at the same height even if you lift it 9 feet. the lift allows you to gain a larger tire size, and then that's what's going to give you the additional clearance. That's something really important to keep in mind. Now let's hop on inside and take a look at the Tacoma TRD Off-Road interior. It's a little bit different than the Pro. You don't get some of the flashy graphics, but it is a very similar interior overall. So this one is equipped with the TRD Premium Off-Road package. That includes these leather trimmed seats. There are also heated seats here in the front. They're pretty decently comfortable. They're not bad at all, actually. And one thing that's worth noting about the Tacoma in general is it's got a very high floor, very low seat, and a pretty squatty cab, which means you end up with your seat sticking directly out in front of you like you'd expect on a sports car. It's almost like being in an off-road Miata with the way that your feet are elevated. That takes some getting used to. You either love it or you really hate it. I'll let you battle that one out in the comment section below. But the interior is pretty good. This is the third generation of Tacoma. It's been around, I think it debuted 2015, 2016. I think 2016 was the first model year. So it's going on 5 years old now. But overall, it still feels pretty good in here, and it has Toyota safety sense. So it's got the full suite of like lane keep assist, the adaptive cruise control. But the great thing is, if you get this lift kit, they've thought about that in terms of the design of the lift. So all of this stuff still works. Oftentimes when you lift a vehicle, like the Ford collision assistance stuff is going to go way out of whack. But this kit was designed with those sensors in mind, so it's still going to function like all the safety aids should. Now we do have the 8-inch touchscreen display here. It's looking pretty good still. They have done a nice job of keeping it relevant over the last 5 years or so. The graphics, aren't anything too fancy, but overall, not a bad system whatsoever. It's got navigation, audio, of course, Bluetooth audio in here as well, Sirius XM, all that kind of fun stuff. Apple CarPlay as well in the Tacoma. But the best part about this is probably just the overall dash layout is really nicely designed. I like how you've got kind of these binnacles that stick out from the front of the dash and are more or less aimed toward the driver, which is nice. We do have some nice materials as well, kind of this neoprene texture up here in front of the passenger. And then the plastics really feel high quality. You can tell that this truck was built to last and built to last a long time. So here is our automatic transmission selector. This one does have a couple of extra TRD goodies on it, like I mentioned. So that air filter is quite expensive. It's a $90 air filter. And then this is a $140 shift knob. And then the door edge guards are an additional $140. So you can really step up your Tacoma with some TRD goodies, but a lot of that stuff I don't think is worth it. Just like stick with the standard gear knob. That's what I would do if it was my truck. So in front of the gear knob here, 2 large cup holders, and we do have the little adjustments for both big and small bottles and beverages. And in front of that, check that out, Qi wireless charging. It will fit the larger iPhones, and the button to engage it is right there. Some switches down the front of the dash, USB. This is your switch for the rear window, parking sensors, ECT power is the electronically controlled transmission that'll change the shift points, and then blind spot monitoring as well. This is the climate control system, dual zone automatic climate control. So both the driver and the passenger have individual climate settings, of course fully automatic. And then to the left of that is the 4-wheel drive selector, 2 high, 4 high, and then 4 low. One thing I have noticed about this truck though, it's very difficult to get it into 4-wheel drive low. It's very, very finicky. It usually takes me a couple tries repositioning the truck back and forth, 4 high, 4 low, 4 high before it'll finally engage. That is an annoying thing about the Tacoma, but once you get it in the 4-wheel drive low, it does have multi-terrain select up here on the console and crawl control. So just like the TRD Pro, you get all the off-road goodies. You aren't really missing anything that the Pro has that this doesn't. It also has that rear locking differential that you can manually engage right there. So it's, for the most part, it's all of the Pro's goodies in terms of off-road tech without the design. You are missing the Fox shocks, but if you get the 2-inch lift like this one, you do have the upgraded Bilsteins, and we'll take it for a ride and see how that works here in a second. Let's check out the back seat, see how that is. The back seat of the Toyota is, it's tight. I'm 6'1". Not a whole lot of clearance with my driving position here. Not a whole lot of headroom as well. It works for kids, but it's not a great system for adults. Now let me show you something pretty cool. If I go ahead and scoot the driver's seat forward, I can now demonstrate some really cool functionality with the back seats in the Tacoma. So first of all, the seat cushions do fold forward, and it's a split folding system here. And underneath the seat cushions are these secure bins, so you can keep stuff nice and kind of out of view. We also have our jack underneath the passenger side. But even cooler than that, these seat cushions fold forward, and the headrests does this really cool little jiggy. If I can get it to do it, there it goes. So it folds up and then out of the way, which allows this to fold down. Come on, check that out. Now I've got a flat-ish place to store longer items, and there's a nice big cubby behind the seat as well. So pretty usable rear seats, although I wish it was a little bit bigger overall. The space is pretty small. It's one of the Tacoma's downsides. If you had just a little bit more room to play with, you could really get creative with the storage option. All right, let's head up back and check out the bed. So out back here, dampened tailgate, and the Tacoma has, well, it's infamous for its one-piece composite bed. So this is all one giant piece of composite material that makes up the bed. No need to bed line it, of course. One thing that is annoying though is that because it's composite, it is structural, and the bed bolts do protrude a little bit into the storage area. But it's pretty useful. We got cutouts here so you can store wood planks up front, more in the back like this. Pretty shallow, which is a good and a bad thing. It means that you can get back and touch the floor even with the lift. Speaking of the lift, you can get it in both long and short bed configurations, but you do need four-wheel drive in order to spec out that lift kit. So you can see the space where lighting would go over here on this side, and to the right side of the bed, got this little tiny storage bin and a power outlet, but it's a pretty weenie power outlet. I think it's rated to a maximum of about 400 watts. This one does have the integrated tie downs in the base of the bed and the rails along the sides, so you can really keep your items nice and secure. Now, if we go ahead and fold up the tailgate, of course, I do love how Toyota includes the Tacoma script stamped into the back of the tailgate here. Pretty useful step as well. Nice low height, but there are no side steps. This one has the integrated parking sensors along the back of the bumper. So here we've got the hitch currently full of snow. We just got dumped on here in Colorado in April. It's fine, I'm upset about it as well. Now this truck will tow a maximum of about 6,500 pounds. We also have easily accessible tow loops down here. The wiring connector is up on the bumper, 7 and 4 pin harness, but no integrated trailer brake controller. Now this truck does include that black exhaust tip, and it's part of an add-on on the sticker. It's like the gloss black exhaust system. That's $799 if you want that tip to come shooting out in that color. It does sound pretty good though. It's got a nice little growl to it. On the road, the Tacoma is a solid choice. It really isn't all that truck-like, especially when compared to something like the Jeep Gladiator or even Ford Ranger. If you're coming out of a car, this is all going to be pretty familiar in terms of ride and handling, in my opinion. Now, this 2-inch lift certainly hasn't made the ride any worse. I wouldn't call it floaty, but sometimes when you lift these vehicles with independent front suspension, they can get super firm. Yeah, it feels really sorted. You can tell that this was designed and engineered by the fine folks at Toyota who built the truck. The steering is actually surprisingly crisp in the Tacoma. The power response, yeah, not as much. It makes all of its power way up in the RPM range, which means it's a little frustrating when you're trying to do truck stuff, but it will get up and go as long as you're committed to passing whatever you're trying to pass. Tacoma visibility is pretty good, and the seats, like I said, they're really not bad on the road. It's just this weird seating position where your knees are so high up relative to your bottom. But like I said, I mean, this is a very good vehicle if you have not had a lot of experience with other pickup trucks in the past, if you're coming out of like a car, this is a really familiar experience, and I think that's kind of what appeals to a lot of people. It's not as familiar as like a Ridgeline, which is very similar to driving a van, but it's just trucky enough to feel special, but not so much where you are sitting on a church pew like Case's 94 Dodge. So there you have it, the TRD Off-Road. This one, as you see it, equipped with pretty much all the bells and whistles, $46,000 before that lift kit. And if you get the lift kit, stick on a nice set of tires on there, and you've got a pretty cool little rig. Honestly, I would always, 100% of the time, get the Off-Road over the Pro. It's all the awesome off-road gear that you need with none of the flash. You don't have to deal with the potential for dealer markups because usually the Off-Roads will be right at sticker or even below. I think it's a good truck. You know, it's going on 5 years old, but overall still competitive and still one that is worth a look. Well, as always, this has been Tommy with the Fast Lane Truck. Check out TFLtruck.com for the latest and greatest in new vehicle reviews.